Yes, Kenrick. Okay, I'll put it down, you know? Finally, I thought.
A mother is saying her last goodbyes to her son.
Kenrick, don't be bad, man. Don't be bad. Our fire, come now. Whenever we can't hear.
Kenrick Jacks was shot dead on December 26th.
Let Kenrick with example show to each and every one of the youth them. That's them may learn from this mistake. Put it down.
Kenrick and his 18-year-old friend, Venroy McDermott, died in a hail of bullets, fired by their own country's security forces, the police and the army. As Kenrick's coffin is being loaded for the journey to church, a single gunshot is fired. A farewell salute in defiance of those who killed him. At least every other day in Kingston, police shoot someone dead.
That's how the police operate.
Dr Caroline Gomes is the Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice.
We have cases in our files. The 14-year-old Lance Zab, who was shot eating a piece of cornbread. At autopsy, he was still clutching the cornbread in his hand. We have Rennie Lyons, 5 years old, shot by a policeman who's running down a man who supposedly has a spliff, a ganja spliff. And he's running after him and firing. Renee's in her yard. He blows her head away.
In Jamaica's capital, Kingston, to be young, male, black and poor is an extremely dangerous combination. On one side are the armed gangs which control the streets, and on the other, the island nation's lethal security forces. Kingston has a long history of violence and crime, but when in the 70s and 80s rival politicians looking for extra votes supplied arms to the street gangs, the conflict took an ugly turn. In the past decade, more than 14,000 people have been murdered in Jamaica. The vast majority gang-related, pushing this island nation up to number 3 for per capita murders in the world rankings.
There's a recent strategic review that says the police are involved in murder for hire, corruption, selling guns, drug running. You know, it's not to say that that's the entire police force, it never is. But the fact of the matter is that the ones in the police force who are trying to do a good job are allowing this to continue by their silence and by their complicity.
While the violence is worse in poorer communities, it's not confined to them. Across the capital, Kingston, in a more affluent area, the Ray family is also seeking answers.
When I heard they were crying and said that Fabian got shot, I never dreamed it was the police. I thought that it may be a crossfire from somebody, and he got hit. When I heard it's the police, I said, why? Our police could have shot Fabian. And when I heard the circumstances, I said, boy, I used to hear and I used to see it. Things happen and have my doubts, but now it is on my doorstep.
This spot marks where 25-year-old Fabian Ray was shot dead in the middle of the day by 2 policemen as he was walking to his sister's house to watch football.
After them shoot, them take him up. I try to put him in the trunk, but it's like him never dead yet, or them never have enough time to put him in the trunk, or what, I'm too tall. So them put him back down and shoot him again. And then pull the back door and pull him in and drive past him house, because I go to him house. And drive past him and go with him.
I cried night and day. I had a nervous breakdown because he is my last son. Out of 9 kids, He is the last son. And he's the first one that died.
But it's not just on the street that the police are considered lethal and corrupt. There's recognition of that fact within the highest levels of the force.
It is a serious, significant problem that we have police officers who are basically criminals and prepared to conduct criminal acts and corrupt acts for their own means. And that's just judging by the investigations I've conducted.
Former Scotland Yard policeman Mark Shields was brought in 4 years ago to tackle the country's gang violence problems and help clean up the force.
How big a threat are the bad cops to the system right now?
It's an enormous threat because the bad cops, however few or many there are, undermine everything that the rest of us are trying to do. And we have to live with that every single day because we may take 10 steps forward of good policing, we may take 10 steps forward in terms of improving trust and confidence with the community, and then something happens and we're back to square one, and that's the constant problem. It's a struggle between good and bad.
It's the day after Kenrick Jack's funeral and his parents are taking me on the short walk to where he was killed.
This is where he died. Right here. Where you see this mark here? Right here he died. So 2 clips done and then with a fire from a next clip and it couple shot will come out of it. Done on the 2 little boy them right here, so. My son get the most, so when I go look on him, the whole of him stomach full of shot and him foot them down here so full of shot. And to show you how them wicked, you know, the soldier use him foot in him throat and fire the shot in him stomach like this and him head. For kill him. Certified that him dead.
Right here, all of these.
Vehicles up and down this street bear testament to the firepower unleashed that night. These photos were taken after the young men were shot.
Plus fire shot over people head too, for them leave the corner before them do the murder. So them have ample time could have do it without hurt the youth, and them just never want to kill somebody.
But not everyone fled. This man, we'll call Rico, couldn't run. He was too close, but just out of sight. He feared he'd become the 3rd victim if he showed himself.
Did you hear what the police said to them? Did you hear what they said to the police?
The police them don't say nothing to the youth them. Them just come up, the light is shining on them spin around. As them spin around, it just shot them getting same time.
The official police record of the shooting states,
the patrol team accosted 2 men along St Patrick Road who they saw acting suspiciously. On seeing the patrol team, one of the men pulled a firearm and pointed it in the direction of the patrol team. The soldier then took evasive action and opened gunfire, hitting both men, who fell to the ground.
Rico confirms the younger man who was with Kenrick Jacks had a gun, but he says it was never pointed at police.
Why do you think they shot them?
It's the gun where them see them with, you know, when them spinning up.
Did you see a gun? Did they have a gun?
Yeah, them have 1 gun.
Did they point it at police?
No, him have it so on him foot. Him not get for fire.
So he had the gun pointed down?
Right down on the ground.
Kenrick's parents believe the island security forces are a law unto themselves.
So many times for a policeman or a soldier man shot to give a youth 16 or 17 shot, that is total murder. That couldn't be a law in Jamaica for you, Gamma, because even the police tell me, say, man, I run and I shoot off a police, and when them dead, they never get 17 shots.
The police are not in the habit of shooting persons dozens of times. You shoot in self-defense, and once you have shot someone sufficient to stop the individual from posing an immediate threat to you, then your next obligation is to ensure the person is rushed to a place where he can get medical attention.
Mark Shields is less defensive of Jamaica's police.
I've acknowledged that there are cases that are very suspicious in terms of fatal shootings. There are others, because we have a country that's full of ruthless gunmen, that are quite legitimate in terms of that people here, gunmen are prepared to take on the police.
this place?
But smoke for me and you, because my last smoke this.
What is not
I go and hold that stick here, me out.
Last smoke this. Until we see you again.
So I'm going to go rest and comfort of yourself.
Ashes to ashes. Dust to dust.
With two senior policemen having two versions of how Jamaica's police force behave, it's no wonder the family of Kenrick Jacks have a clear sense more trouble is on the way.
At even the same time after they killed my son, them came here and asking for my arrest of children. So I would like to ask them now why they want my arrest of children.
She knows speaking out is a risk, but it's all she can do for her son as she holds out no hope his death will be investigated.
Right now, to how my son died, it gives me no courage to really talk to the police, because they should do that from my son died. And they didn't do that.
It doesn't take long on the streets of Kingston to see how the police operate.
What, sorry, tell me what's happening there.
The road.
They're searching you. They're searching you. So them don't keep the picture there. If nobody never out there, then shoot them.
The police claim to find some weed or marijuana at this roadside stall, and two men are arrested.
Come around us and get the face. Up on the vehicle. Come around us and get the face. Not for sure them no. Not for sure them no. Not for sure them no. Them got court. I don't know if me wants us to want that space.
While the two men are being loaded onto the truck, fearful of what's to come, a soldier warns Angela that she is now a marked woman. She's angry.
When the soldier them say that means anyone tell them see me, that means to say them will shoot me. Because him a cuss him bad than a go on. That means to say my life in jeopardy with them now. Because them wrong. But them do them wrong. We poor people and now because we poor people them treat you like dogs.
Police know there was at least one remaining witness to the fatal shooting of Angela's son, and the locals here fear that the police think the witness may be one of these young men. George was lucky and is granted bail after being charged with possessing marijuana.
No, why them pick on me? Because them directly say my star. I was dealing with ganja at my star, which I never did. That's why them really pick at me.
On the street here there is anger, but also an acceptance of the way police operate, planting evidence from marijuana to guns.
Well, the police them deal with justice, them deal with it rough. They deal like down at Somalia, Iraq. Them not no right for us deal with so. But those two with us with that day in the ghetto part. That's why the way them deal with it.
They behave like that because it's the ghetto?
Yeah, because the ghetto, them deal with the more uptown people more better. Like true, most of them, that's what I say, poor is a crime, so that's what we deal like a dog.
In addition to the police killings, nearly as many people have been murdered in the past 2 years as in the 40 years of conflict in Northern Ireland. Scabby Dread has family in the two main rival gangs that control the city's downtown district. He's taking me through the buffer zone. I can walk freely here, only because I am with him. But But it's not that long ago that no one could walk here. This was once the front line.
You couldn't stand up, you got to run across or clear the street. Empty, keep it empty, because peer shot, to and from. But everything come down now, we live in one and loving.
While there may be new respect for old rivals, that does not extend to the police force.
The police, they don't make nothing better, they make it worse. Because they angle you anyway. Then beat you up, haul you off to jail, mash up your house, mash up your place, treat you like a criminal. Just through you're poor and you're not rich and live up Beverly Hills. You live in the ghetto, in the area. They try to keep you down. They don't want to see you come out.
Many criminals in Jamaica do not hesitate to shoot at the police, and they do not hesitate to pump dozens of bullets into their victims. In all instances, save and except a very few which are investigated, discovered and prosecuted, the shootings committed by the police are done in circumstances that are justifiable and necessary.
But the list of accusations against the police force is so long and so serious that calls continue to be made for it to be disbanded.
We're on record saying that they should just disband the force. You know, obviously not tomorrow because you need a police force, but you set out a timeline in which the Jamaica Constabulary Force, which has lost the trust of the people.
There have been calls for the police force to be disbanded.
That's one option, and there are times when I can have some sympathy with that, but the fact is we still have to police the country. So if on the 31st of March we disband the JCF, what do we replace it with? How do we go about that process? It's a very radical step, and at times I can see some, as I say, I have some sympathy for it. I think that reform must start from within, though.
While police good and bad are on the front line, it's the island's politicians who also hold sway over the gangs that rule the streets.
Understanding the rules of engagement.
Omar Davies is Jamaica's former finance minister. He acknowledges politicians were responsible for arming the gangs, but says that was the past.
I think there's no question that there was an extended period in which there was a political involvement, to use a neutral term, for in terms of supporting gangs, etc., who then would defend political turf. That period has passed for a variety of reasons. One, some of the main protagonists, politicians, have moved on. Two is that you are mistaken if you believe you can arm someone for political reasons and constrain and restrict them to use the arms for those reasons.
He may not arm them, but Omar Davies does still support at least one gang. In his electorate is the clubhouse of the Black Roses, a gang he openly admits financing. He pays them to keep the streets clean of rubbish.
To give someone who is a community leader or a former gang leader, to give them assignments, it means that you're supporting criminality. But at the same time, not just the Jamaica government, but there are international organizations. There's a peace management initiative, etc. And they will tell you that there's no way to bring about peace if you ignore those who can create war.
People just remember, maintain a courageous calm in whatever we do in the face of dangerous calm and ridicule. That's my tip of it.
Engaging with the gangsters may be one option, but with the high murder rate and police accused of extrajudicial killings, there seems little chance that peace will come to this Caribbean capital anytime soon.
We have some excellent police, some very professional officers who are doing a really good job, and they want, as most of Jamaica wants, a first-class police service. Unfortunately, there are many people within it who either don't want that or are part of the problem. we work for an organisation that is a police service, but it's also, in parts, a criminal organisation in itself as well.